How many dates does it take to sleep with a woman? That's what I'm going to share in this video because I've been getting a lot of comments on my channel of people asking me, hey, Silver Bachelor, how many dates does it take for you to sleep with a woman? Well, I will share this. First, it depends on what night of the week you're going out. One. Two, it depends on how into you she is. And three, it depends on if she has children. All right, so keep watching because I will give you that number of how many dates on average can you expect to sleep with a woman, and I will explain some other things around this that you need to do in your dating life. All right, so getting into this, I mentioned what day of the week you're going out on these dates. So what I typically do is I like to do for the first date. The first date, I like to go out on my dates between a Tuesday and a Thursday. The reason is because weekends typically are reserved for the chads and the top of the top, the creme de la creme. For women, their top choice, I've had more date cancellations on weekend nights, trying to see them on a weekend night, than I've ever had on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The other benefit of during the week, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is there's a lot of places that have happy hour. What's happy hour? Happy hour is typically a specific menu of drinks and food only served between typically Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. I like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as a first date because you're not competing with all these other men typically on the weekend that she might actually prefer to go out with. So that's date number one, and I do not expect sex. Of course, eventually, not that it's an expectation, but it's kind of expected when you start to see someone, you're going to have sex. So, but the first date, because I don't want to compete with any other dude or their top picks, whoever they are, on the weekends, my first date is typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and most likely she's not coming over to my place any of those evenings because they are work nights. All right. Date number two. Now, date number two, obviously, if date number one goes well, you can now try to schedule something on the weekend because clearly if she's going out with you a second time, you're now one of her top choices. All right. So date number two, I typically like to go on a weekend evening. Now, without leaving you guys hanging, typically on average, all right, I'm having sex with somebody within 3 to 4 dates, okay? There are exceptions because if she's very, very into you and she says, look, I can't get together on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it happens to be on a weekend evening, right? Again, if she's into you, most likely she's coming back to your place on date number one and you're going to have sex, okay? Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have sex on the first date, she's not really that into you. No, I'm just saying if the stars align, she doesn't have plans the next day, and it's a Friday night or Saturday night, right? She's not on her period because that is a thing, right? And she, like I said, she doesn't have to work. She's super into you. She's not on her period. And you go out on a Friday, Saturday night. She's having a great time. You're vibing. There's a high chance that she will go back to your place on date number one and sleep with you. Now, the other exception is maybe she doesn't want you to think less of her because you're sleeping together on date number one. There's a lot of women that's on their mind. They're like, oh, I don't want this guy to think I'm just a one night stand kind of thing. So if she's really, really into you, all the rules go out the window. So, but in general, in most cases, my first date is typically Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Date number two is usually a weekend evening. They don't have to come back to my place at all. That's not my expectation, right? But like I said, if she's super into you, she's most likely going to be very, very open to having a nightcap at your place. Now, let's just say that the situation is we go out someplace on a weekend evening and she doesn't end up coming back to my place. Well, for sure, date number 3, I'm inviting her back to my place because I would say to her, look, I'd like to cook dinner for you, and why don't we watch a movie? So when she comes over to my place, right, I also don't have an expectation, because again, maybe who knows what time of month it is, because you don't know that. But definitely within 4 dates, something is almost always percentage wise, right, happening within 4 dates. And usually, though, it's within 3 dates. So hope this video was helpful to you guys. And like I said, I've been asked about this many, many times on my channel. And I do want to hear from you if you have any other questions, and so I can do videos on those topics. All right, we'll see you next time.